Unfortunately, today is about sadness mostly. What's up, guys? My name is Justin, and welcome to Justin's Chat Part 4. Today we are going to be talking a little bit about a couple of things, some of my best friends and the struggles they've gone through, a little bit about me, stuff I do, personal life, things I do, a little bit about basketball. I apologize. This is like my third video in like 7 or 8 days, so I apologize for like blowing up everybody's feeds and stuff with videos. Also, ignore my hair. I literally got out of the shower like 5 minutes ago, so it's still just kind of doing its thing. This was being recorded on a Friday afternoon, just past noon, a little after noon. But it probably won't go out till either Friday night or Saturday. So if I look different than I actually did on that day when you see me or something, ignore it. Anyways, we're gonna be talking a little bit about a couple of things today. Like I said, this is going to be kind of difficult for me to talk about, at least in the beginning. It's going to highlight a little bit about my past and things I feel and people I've met and stuff like that, as well as a little bit more about me personally, things I do, and so on. To start, I want to start by making a disclaimer that I might get a little bit upset. You're going to be able to see it in my eyes, because when I get a little bit upset, you can see it in my eyes differently. My eyes start to flare, my eyes start to get a little bit of a crinkle to them, because I'm so passionate about this issue that we're going to talk about a little bit, as well as, stuff like basketball, obviously, I'm extremely passionate about, and work very hard, honestly, at both of these issues to be the best I can be at each of them in different aspects. Obviously, they aren't the same thing. So let's start today, basically, nice and easy, with a little more about me. I turned 20 a couple weeks ago. Okay, that's a good intro. We're going to talk a little bit today about one of my best friends that I've known for a few months now. Many of you know her as well. She wrote my favorite book, The Girl Behind the Smile, and that's Cameron Nassman. And her whole book, you can go buy it, 'cause it's a fantastic book. It's my favorite book, like I said, that I've ever read. Favorite book by far. But her story is that she was depressed and bullied and several things in middle school and high school, and it's about her fight with suicidal thoughts and depression, trying to find her worth in this world and trying to be the best Cameron she can be while battling her inside demons. And her and I have gotten along fantastically in the few months that we've known each other. It's weird, actually, weird story. We started off, my dad gave me a Sports Illustrated article 7 or 8 months ago over the summer, late summer, July, August, September, something like that. And I was reading through because there was like a thing on Kevin Durant and the NBA Finals or Aaron Rodgers or something in there, right? And I was reading for that, and I happened to skim through the rest of it, because I was bored. And on the back page was a little mini sub-page, one-page article thing about her and Blair Walsh. And the whole story was that after the missed field goal that would have sent the Vikings to, I want to say it was the Super Bowl, it might have been to the NFC Championship game about 3 years ago, against the Seahawks when he was on the Minnesota Vikings. She had reached out to him and told him it was okay. She was a huge Blair Walsh fan, still is to this day, and they get along fantastically, but she had battled that kind of sadness herself, and that her happiness came in the Minnesota Vikings and Blair Walsh specifically, and so she reached out to him, and they got to meet and all that cool stuff. It's all big story. I won't go into the whole thing. It's in the book. If you even look her up, you can find pretty much that she's a massive Blair Walsh fan. But anyways, so she's battled all sorts of stuff, and her ex-boyfriend now, that will not name for his sake, and for my sake of not just going ape shit on the guy. For someone, I don't want to say it's fragile, because that's not the right word, and she's going to yell at me when she sees this for using that word, but for someone as fragile as she was in her personality, her lifestyle, and where she was at in that point of her life, trying to find stability and trying to better herself in the long term, he basically broke down all of that. And on the front, I think on the front face, it was very much, I'm here for you, love you, care about you, all that supporting stuff. But on the back, he was beating her to shreds to the point where when it all collapsed, it was going to go like that and fall and be a disaster. And that happened, unfortunately, not too long ago, and it was a big kerfuffle. And she's had a tough time overcoming that ever since, unfortunately. But she's back on her feet, and I'm proud of you, Cameron. Shout out. But it reminded me, this guy, again, I won't name him, it reminded me, I was upset because he hurt her, because she's a great friend of mine, obviously, and used her, basically, and just, I don't really think is a very good guy. I'm not a big fan of him, but it reminded me scarily enough, a lot of myself in my past, which is where I kind of want to talk about this. And my best friends, Sage, my brother Ryan, best friend Adam, they know this story, at least a little bit. So my ex-girlfriend, again, she will not be named, but you all know who she is. We had a long-term relationship, and it was interesting because we both made a lot of mistakes. I made more so than me. I made a lot of mistakes probably from when I was like 13 through probably 17, like my junior year of high school, early junior year of high school. And I just, I was a teenager. I was stupid. I was an idiot. I thought I knew more than I did, and I thought I knew more about the world and was more confident in myself than I was. And looking back, my confidence is really like here, and nowadays it's up here just because I'm focusing on things that are actually important, worthwhile, and mean something to me in my life. But the scariest part about this guy that Cameron was with is looking back now, reading her book and reading the things she went through are things I did myself, and I see a lot of myself in him from my past. Obviously, I've grown out of that, I like to think, and mostly and matured and been a much better person now. But it's still scary when you have that recognition of shit, that was me. Like, I was not the person I wanted to be. And again, the girl that I was with, she knows who she is, so I'm gonna apologize up front for all of this. But I mean, all the things I said, all of the stupid things I did that didn't seem significant to me, and they weren't really significant, like, at the time, but looking back, like, now, I look at it and I'm like, God, like, every text to a girl that wasn't her that I shouldn't have sent, because it was just, we were just friends and there was nothing to it, but putting her in that situation where she didn't have trust in me beforehand, and just, I took that not for granted, but I didn't appreciate that. I didn't respect that she didn't have that trust, and to put her in that situation of, basically having to worry nonstop about what I was up to, even though I was doing nothing wrong, I was completely harmless. Putting her in a situation to have to worry exemplifies everything else. I mean, it's a trust breaker. It's a rule breaker. You really shouldn't do that to someone. It's really, really cruel, and that's probably my biggest regret from the last 5 years, is putting she who will not be named through that on a constant basis, just because I'm a very outgoing guy. If you know me, I'm a very friendly guy. I know a lot of people, I talk to a lot of people, and I love people. But that backfires when you have someone that you love and you care about very, very much, and you basically put them through hell for years. You put them through hell because you're living your life, not really separate, but you're living your life on top of living your life with them. And that's just, it's destructive, to be honest with you, for lack of a better word. It's destructive, and I destroyed a lot of her personality and ruined a lot of the person that she was growing up, and I feel absolutely terrible for that. But I can't take that back. The only thing I can do is learn from that and be a better person moving forwards, and just hopefully not make any of the same mistakes again. So, like I said, thank you to my best friends, Sage and Adam. You guys are absolutely the best for helping me through all this. But looking at myself in the way that I saw what's his name when I was reading through Cameron's book is harrowing. Almost for, that's probably not the correct use of that word. I don't have English this semester, so ignore that. To have to look at that and see it from the outside and see it happen to somebody else that is not directly involving me is very, very scary, and I'm getting a little bit choked up, a little bit teary here thinking about it, because it was me. It was my life, It was being a bad boyfriend, literally. I mean, I wasn't like a bad boyfriend, but I was not the boyfriend I should have been, not the boyfriend I aspired to be. But all I can do is move on. I just want to say it to this guy: if I ever see you, you better hope I'll never see you, because I'm gonna unleash all of my pain from CF, all of my fury, all the hate I had for myself from my 13 to 17-year-old period. All of that is coming out on you. All of that is coming out through my mouth. I'm gonna yell at you. I'm gonna shout at you, and I'm gonna let you know that you effed up. Just by coincidence, you messed with the wrong guy, because I don't appreciate hurting people, especially now in the last few years. I've been a different person, especially the past 8 to 10 months. Like I said, I've been a different person. I don't appreciate that, and the relationships I've made, the people I've met are so much better in my life right now than the people I've had in my past, and I'm very thankful for that. So don't mess with us. All right, a little bit happier topics. We're going to talk a little bit about the classes I'm taking and why I'm taking them. Easy answer to that: general education, which might be the dumbest thing ever, which I'll explain shortly. And we're going to talk a little bit about basketball and how that's looking out for me the next couple weeks at least. All right, so firstly, I gotta think of what class I'm taking. U.S. History, 1865 to present. Intro to Literature, which is a class I didn't want to take, but I had to because the class I wanted to take wasn't actually available. It's a long story. Basically, I tested into like this junior, senior level English class. Hasn't been available for 2 years now because all the juniors and seniors take it, so I'm stuck taking this other crap. What else am I taking? Art History. That's a gen ed for whatever the hell it's called. Artistness, I could have taken like a music class, but I already took a music class and whatever. What else am I taking? I'm taking First Nation Studies, which is somewhat an interesting class. It's like Native American life, Native American culture, and like their past and stuff like that, which I find kind of interesting. I'm just terrible at it because I have no knowledge basis for that. I have no background info, I have no place on the bookshelf, for lack of a better term, for that kind of knowledge. So I'm just kind of basically sitting there trying to absorb as much as I can right now, and hopefully be a better learner in the second half of the semester. And the other class I'm taking is business and media writing, which is like, news stories and published events and stuff like that, which is, again, not really what I'm trying to do with my life, but it's a communications class, which might be a potential minor of mine, along with entrepreneurship and psychology, and whatever else I just said. I can't think too much today. It's still Friday. Yeah, and so those are all potential things I might minor in along with my marketing major, obviously. So that's just a class I want to take. It worked in my schedule. I enjoy it. The professor's not my favorite professor, but I think I'm pretty good at the class. I think that'll be okay. Yeah, so these classes I'm taking all basically for gen eds. I'm hoping I can basically wrap up my gen eds right now, so that when I get to my junior year next year, obviously, be able to start taking some marketing emphasis classes and stuff like that to earn more credits towards my actual marketing degree. And hopefully get out here, and if not 4 years, 4.5 years. I don't want to be here any longer than that. But yeah, move on with my life, get some, work experience, get a grad school, get a master's degree, all that stuff. But obviously that's a few years in the future. We'll not worry about that right now. But yeah, it's just a little bit about the classes I'm taking. Like I said, they're all just gen eds. So if you have any questions about schooling or whatever, I love helping people with classes, with school. I like to think I'm pretty well-rounded and pretty smart. I mean, some of you might disagree. I like to think I'm a good student. I mean, a couple years ago, I had a 4.0 for my whole senior year of high school. This year and last year, not so much. But I still like to think I'm a decent teacher, decent helper at that kind of stuff. So don't be afraid if you have any questions on homework or whatever to get in touch with me. Lastly, before we end this, because this has now been 13 minutes, apologies for taking up your whole day. They're bringing around snowplows. We didn't even get any snow last night, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta make sure all the sidewalks are clear." I'm like, "Let's just salt them and get out of here. Like, we don't need to move more snow just because we have some sitting somewhere." It doesn't matter. Anyways, off topic again. Basketball. I wish desperately, and I was thinking about this last night while I was thinking about this other guy as I was reading that book. I was thinking about this last night. I wish that in high school, when I got my concussion freshman year playing for the team and didn't bother trying out for the rest of the team, played CYO club ball basically, I wish that I could shoot the way I shoot right now then. Now, don't get me wrong, I am no star basketball player. I'm no, LeBron future. I'm 20 years old. I'm not going to play anything outside of intramural basketball or like for fun or club at the YMCA for the rest of my life as long as I play basketball, which is hopefully a long time. But nonetheless, I'm not going to like suddenly get a scholarship next year and transfer and play D1 ball. That's not going to happen. But I like to think of myself as a pretty good shooter. I've worked at it for a long time, very long time. It took me forever to find out what the hell I was good at. I tried a lot of things. I tried my senior year of high school, I tried playing some point guard. I'm 6'1", not your typical point guard. I played probably shooting guard to small forward, depending on who is on the court, obviously, who I'm matched up with. So that means I did a little bit of everything. I mean, I handled the ball a lot, shot a lot, played in the post a lot, ran a lot of back routes, back screens, tried to improve defense, stuff like that. I was kind of an all-around player. And then last year, didn't really have a niche as far as playing, but late in the year I found that I could be a decent shooter and I could affect games by making a couple shots early, hopefully, and then when I'm running around the court trying to set back screens, someone has to follow me, because if you give me a loop, I'm going to get open, I'm going to shoot, and that's kind of the whole point of having a pure shooter basically on your team, is that they disrupt the defense when you have to have someone watching them at all times, regardless of if they're 30 feet from the guy that has the ball, basically. So I've tried my best to exemplify that and become a better shooter. I try not to dribble too much because I don't have sick handles. My brother Ryan will attest to this. He's more the point guard guy between the legs, behind the back, around his neck and bouncing it off of his head, and it ends up where it needs to go somehow behind his back, passing, whatever. That is not me. I can dribble a little bit to like make one guy miss, and as soon as I get in the paint, you might as well just take the ball out of my hands and run the other way. Not me. So I try to dribble as little as possible, catch and shoot. If any of you follow the NBA, more of a Klay Thompson or a Kyle Korver or kind of J.R. Smith type of player. Doesn't really do a whole lot except stand there, play some defense, and then on offense, when you get the ball, shoot. So I've tried to do a little bit of that this year. This past first semester of the year, I made first team all-intramural at UWGB. Very thankful for that. So thanks to them, UWGB, for voting me, and my basketball peers for voting me as that. I think I got like 62 votes or something, which isn't that many. I mean, the top people get like 300, but 62 people thought I deserved to be on there. So I don't know what you all are smoking, but thank you very much. This season so far, it's not went great. First game, we only had 6 points. Like I said, we didn't play very well. We only had 21 as a team. But last week had 14 points. I had 3 points in the first 32 and a half minutes. Last minute and a half, I had 11 more after we were already down by 20 plus points. So that was kind of pointless. But, like I said, I'm one of those shooters that, I almost shouldn't think about it. I shouldn't worry about score. I shouldn't worry about if it's going to go in, because at the end of the game, we were down by 21 points, and I just started, okay, I'm going to shoot this one, and I had a little bit of space. My teammate Jada and my teammate Joel set some fantastic back screens, and I curled around to the left free throw line, extended, and just pulled up. And there was a girl who switched on to me who was probably 2.5 feet, 3 feet in front of me, and which isn't a whole lot of space when they're closing out with you with your hand up. And I was just like, screw it, we're Steph Curry, baby. And pulled up and it went in. I was the same thing next time. Set the same back screen, went to the same place, ended up in the post, fadeaway 2-pointer. Same thing on the next play, fadeaway back screen. I had the center close out at me from Brandon, I think, or Joel, whoever was in the game at the time. Pulled up again, knocked it down, had 11 points in 89 seconds. I think it was 11 points. But I've had a lot of fun. I've had some foot issues, partially due to my new shoes. The forest green Under Armours. You've seen them. I'll show them again later probably. I've had some issues with those. I've had some issues with my ankle in general. I got some ankle damage a couple weeks ago. That's been okay. I've also had my reoccurring knee problems a little bit, so I've been wearing my knee brace back again for my strained ACL, which was in 2012. 8th grade, like 6 years ago, whatever that was. But hopefully that all turns out okay. We have a couple of weeks left, 3 or 4 weeks left in this season. Then we'll have a couple of weeks off, 2 weeks off maybe, and then we'll start the 4th block, which will take us basically to the end of the year, the last couple of weeks, until classes are done. And then the last couple of weeks, obviously, for finals week, we don't have games, but I'll be sure to keep you updated on that. We'll keep shooting because I don't really have anything else going for me. Not very good anything else except walking around, and occasionally I'll be open enough to pop one, and I'll probably airball a couple at some point because that's what we do in intramurals. Just Justin's a shooter, so he's going to start chucking, and eventually one of them might go in, maybe, luckily. So I've scored in every game so far that I've been here. I've never missed all of them, so we're working on progress. And again, I apologize for the massive rush of videos. Thank you all for supporting. Thank you all for watching Justin's chats. It means the world to me just to be able to sit and talk. This one's ridiculously long, pushing 20 minutes now, so I apologize. But I much appreciate the support, and we'll continue to just live life, be myself, kick some cystic fibrosis ass, and just keep being Justin. Thank you all.